Welcome to the configuration demo of WootCloud HyperContext with missed access points. In today's demo, we are going to show you how you can significantly enhance the capabilities of your missed access points by adding the advanced device intelligence provided by the WootCloud HyperContext platform. Before we get started, WootCloud is the only smart device security platform that not only uncovers devices on both the radio and network spectrum, but it also provides critical device context by analyzing thousands of device parameters called hypercontext. The platform then leverages this hypercontext to generate a unique device identifier and authenticity rating called True ID. Now that we're logged into the WootCloud HyperContext interface, we can establish a connection with our missed access point environment. Let's go ahead and add in our username, our password, and then most importantly, our unique site ID for the missed access point environment. There are several use cases where you can use the WootCloud HyperContext insights to create policies. Here, you see in detail how to implement this particular use case, but please understand there are many more use cases possible. Many organizations are struggling with what to do about employee-owned devices, such as smartphones, tablets, and other wearable devices. In this particular instance, what we are going to do is create a new policy that only allows access to the guest network. Now that we successfully created some labels for the Wi-Fi clients, we can proceed to creating some labels for the network segments that are controlled by the type IP address. Notice that we can use either the specific IP address or we can also use CIDR notation. Okay, now that we've created all of the labels that we need for our demo, let's go ahead and see how we can use these labels as we create policies that define access capabilities on our missed access points. As we create some of these policies, notice that some of the devices are going to be allowed access to some parts of the network and then denied access to other parts of the network. We want to ensure that the corporate-owned devices have access to the corporate network as well as the intranet, but we do not want them to access the guest network. IoT devices are very important to organizations today, but they are very susceptible to outside threats. We want to make sure that these devices are not able to access the corporate network, the guest network, but we do need them to communicate on the intranet. As we mentioned before, many employees will bring in devices of their own, whether they are smartphones, tablets, or wearable devices. We need to ensure that the corporate data is highly secure. When we detect these devices, we want to make sure that we block them from the corporate network and the intranet, but we will gladly give them access to the guest network. The MIST environment is now set up and ready for us to use for enforcement. We will now switch to the WootCloud HyperContext interface to enable the connections between the missed access point environment and the intelligence of the WootCloud HyperContext platform. As we go through this process, this is where the label names created in the missed environment will be used again. It's important to remember that the label name in the missed environment is referred to as segment name inside of the WootCloud HyperContext platform. In the next few sequences, we're going to set up the policies for the corporate-owned devices, the IoT devices, and then also the employee-owned devices. There are three primary sections involved in creating the policy within the WootCloud HyperContext platform. First, we will name the policy, assign it a category, and which classification of device attributes will be used. Next, we will define the rules that will be used to trigger this particular policy. And finally, we will specify the actions that we want to take when the policy is triggered. As we are completing the setup of the policies, let me take a moment to explain what is happening in the background. The WootCloud HyperContext Policy Engine is a continuous, dynamic feature that actively monitors devices and determines if they meet the criteria of a particular policy or not. When a device meets the criteria of a particular policy, the HyperContext platform will automatically update the MIST label with the MAC address of the device. If at any time a device no longer meets the criteria of a policy, the HyperContext platform will automatically remove the MAC address from the MIST label association. This integration between WootCloud HyperContext and the MIST access points provides you unprecedented capabilities at the access point layer that no other access point manufacturer can provide. In essence, the combination of the WootCloud HyperContext platform with the MIST access points provides you the next generation access control at the access point. Okay, we've now set up our MIST environment and our WootCloud HyperContext platform. Let's see if we have access to the different network segments. Let's go ahead and try some simple ping commands and see what we can do. First, let's check our guest network. Look at that. We've been able to successfully block the connection. Now let's see if we have access to our corporate network. All right, we still have some success. Now let's see if we can get out to the internet. We'll do a simple ping to 4.2.2.2. Again, very successful in connecting to the internet. And let's just validate one more time to see if we can get to another part of the network as well. Excellent. We've now successfully tested our corporate devices, and we can see that we have access to all the different segments that we specified. Let's test our employee-owned devices to see what segments of the network they can reach. Looks like they can reach the guest network. We're able to reach the internet as well. But now let's check to see if we can access some of the local corporate networks. Good. We blocked our access to one of the corporate networks. And we've successfully blocked the employee devices from accessing the IoT network as well. Let's see how we did with our IoT rules. Let's go ahead and try the same ping tests and see if we have access to the IoT network but are blocked from all the other segments. Looks like we are not able to access the guest network. We're not able to access the corporate network. We are able to access the IoT device network. And we've also successfully blocked it from the internet itself. Both environments are now set up and ready to be put into production. We've shown you the simplicity of how you can create labels inside of the MIST environment, and then how to create robust policies leveraging the in-depth device attributes called HyperContext to control microsegmentation at the MIST access point. Why is this important? Combining the flexible capabilities of the MIST access points with the intelligence and seamless integration of the WootCloud HyperContext platform provides you with unprecedented network access control at the access point. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. For more information, please contact your Mist account team or go to www.mist.com/contact.